Alrighty, people.
Yeah.
So sorry about being late. We had a very exciting meeting. And also, your boy's just going through the ringer right now. I got Crohn's disease, anybody who doesn't know, and right now it is not my best friend. It is not treating me right. So,
Google Chrome's, actually.
yeah, Google Crohn's update. And so that's why we're a little bit late, but we're here. And we're excited to look at some people's dynasty teams and hopefully help them improve. And ultimately, hopefully, help them win some championships. We see you in the chat. What's up, Sean? He says, is Traylon droppable now? I'm not going to say droppable, but it's getting close.
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
It's pretty much done. I mean, it was pretty much done after they added Calvin, and that was maybe the last nail in the coffin. We'll see. I find it hard. I won't drop him just out of pure, respect and love for the man. Fuji says Benson at the 111. Not a bad option, but probably too early. What's up, Albert? Welcome in. What's up, TD? Welcome in. What's up, WG? What's up, Maddie? Welcome in, guys. We appreciate you. Hit that like button to show some love. We're reviewing some people's dynasty teams today. So a big shout out to everyone who has signed up and become a member. If you're out there and you want your dynasty team reviewed, all you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I just put a direct link in the chat for you, but when you sign up, you get our rookie report, you get a dynasty team review, you get our rankings. By the way, we are going to put out a redraft draft guide as well, and you'll get access to that if you're a member, of course. You unlock our entire Discord, you unlock the dynasty trade calculator, the best in the business, and of course you're supporting Badaki and I when you do so. First team today that we're going to be reviewing is Vinegar Strokes. So I'm just going to send him a message.
A couple of vinegars.
I'm just going to send him a message over here and let him know that we are going to be reviewing his team. And he will be first today. Big shout out to everybody who has been submitting over on the Flock Fantasy site, by the way. We have just now transitioned full time to doing team reviews through the Flock Fantasy site. Our developers have been going hard, honestly, at getting the site up and ready and getting the best version of the site and continually improving it. If you do sign up, by the way, all you got to do is go to My Teams. You can sync your league, and then whatever league you want us to review, all you have to do is click this little button here that says submit for review, and that will take you through the process to actually have us review your team. So hopefully that makes sense. But first team today is from Vinegar Strokes. Let us know if you're in the chat, my man. We appreciate you. Thanks for the support. Joe says we live. Sean says background lighting is fire for Badaki. So he loves it.
Appreciate it.
But all right, let's do this thing. So
yeah, let's go through the context here.
ahead.
We appreciate you there. Vinegar Strokes 9 Strokes here. William Anderson, that's
Love
awesome. Hey, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the support. Looking at the context here, he said, hey guys, I'm in the middle of a rebuild and would like your advice. I would list my picks moving from the current draft below. Says I love the content. Okay, so this is kind of what you're thinking, suggestions on what to take here, and we'll definitely go through that, and let's talk through that now.
Just also, this was a while ago. We're starting to get through the website ones now, and if you submit through the website, expect your team to be reviewed within a week. It won't take longer than that. We had just gotten through all the Discord ones as we transitioned, but he said, hey, it's been a while, like here's some updated context in the chat. He said, my draft ended up with Harrison, Daniels, Thomas, Benson, Penix, Corley, Sinnott, Burton, McMillan. Then after that, he traded Tony Pollard in a fourth and a third to get Kendre Miller and Raheem Mostert, which I don't mind that deal. After trading Jalen Wright in a third because giving up Corley and Jermaine Burton because I was deep on wide receiver. Just wanted to make sure we had that detail as well before we continued. Awesome. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I guess that was kind of what he was hoping for. You know, at the 102, he gets Harrison. At the 103, Daniels here. But we can kind of break it down. His team, Aaron's Achilles Factory, is his team currently.
Yeah, and by the way, you're currently ranked number 1 according to Flock Fantasy Community Rankings. And what's cool about this is you can actually change whose rankings you'd like to see. But Aki, yours got to get updated. Yeah. And we both have to do a better job at keeping them updated, so they're the latest ones. But you can see from myself as well, I also would rank you based off my rankings as the number 1 team in the league. But let's stick with community rankings for now, and you'll see what the community says, and we'll see where we agree or disagree. But really cool part about this site, I mean, it shows what league you're in, all the context that you need, how you stack up and where you stack up at certain positions, where you rank depending on certain positions. And the best part, I think, for you and I doing these reviews, Badaki, is there might be names that you and I
think that's the wrong team. I could be wrong.
Okay.
That you're looking at.
Is it?
FYI. You're looking at Big JP's.
Yeah.
And we were looking at... Aren't we looking at the different team, which is...
His team name is Big JP.
So what context did I just read out? Because I didn't read out Big JP's.
I'm not sure where you are, brother, but catch up with us. Big JP is the one that we're looking at right now. Or it's Aaron or Achilles Factory, my bad.
Yeah. I was like, no, it's not. Okay.
Aaron's Achilles Factory. Okay.
Okay.
My bad.
Keep up with us, brother. Come on. Nah. I'm just trying to find
I-35 is a team name. So you're currently ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th amongst the entire league. My bad. I was wrong. But I was trying to highlight kind of the features of the site, and I got a little bit lost in the sauce. But essentially,
no, that's okay.
It's one of the best ways, I'd say, to have a look at where you stand amongst your league. Still, you can look at my rankings. Badaki's, he'll update them here in a second. Where you rank positionally. And my favorite part about this website is every time we review a team, Badaki, there's like a specific name, and we're like, man, Nick Chubb, for example, would be such a good addition to this team. And then we have to look through the entire league and find out where Nick Chubb is. Well, here we look up Nick Chubb,
just search it,
and we know exactly what team he is on, Chestnut Checkers, and we can come up with some trade ideas right awesome. Here, right there. So anyway, my bad, but we are on the same page now. I-35. Go ahead and take us through this team.
Yeah, looking at this team. Remember, this is a rebuild, okay?
SuperFlex, start 9.
Yeah, SuperFlex, start 9, rebuild here. Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Derek Carr, the list kind of goes on there. He does have Aiden O'Connell, which could be really exciting. I think this is a good quarterback room, especially rebuilding, especially getting Michael Penix there. We were big advocates on getting Michael Penix. At least for me, I'm a big advocate getting Michael Penix if you are rebuild
you know me.
Specifically. But yeah, so I think this is a perfect room. You also have Trey Benson at the running back position, Brian Robinson, Kendra Miller, Jalen Wright, Raheem Mostert, Chase Brown, downtown, and the list kind of goes on there. And you currently ranked 7th in the community at the running back position. Once again, in a rebuild team, looking like you have your 25 first as well. Could you easily be getting another running back in 2025?
Well, I don't think he has his 25 first.
He doesn't have his, but he does have a.
Yeah, he does have
Super Karma.
But yeah. I don't love. I want to know how we lost our 25 first, because in
Super
a rebuild, that is a big no-no to lose your 25 first.
And Super Karma looks like he's currently ranked 11th. Let me just. Yeah, he's currently ranked 11th there. So that should be a high draft pick there potentially. But Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, Pacheco. I don't understand how he's ranked 11th. We'll definitely have a look at the wide receiver position. Start 9. So it's at 3 wide receivers and 2 flex, potentially 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, and a flex. So actually, it could be 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Correct me if we're wrong there. But Marvin Harrison Jr., Jordan Addison, Rashee Rice, Bryant Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Jalen McMillan, and the list goes on there.
This team is super young. a lot of potential, but no real solidified future at this point. We are betting on a lot of young players to come through and really be the answer for our team, but we're still quite far off, I'd say, and I am a little bit sad that we don't have our own first round pick, just because I do think it's
going to be a high pick.
It's going to be a high pick, and it's going to really, we don't even have our own second round pick, so I'm really wondering what happened to those. Will says change the team name to I-35 because always building. Also traded away Cousins and Rodgers.
That's okay.
So yeah, I really wish we had those picks because we're not going to be a good team.
I do believe that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we're not going to be a good team and we're not going to benefit from it at all. That's what's tough about this. Just general advice for anyone who's ever going to rebuild: never rebuild if you don't have your own first round picks.
Because trying to find his first round pick here.
I wonder if we can type that in actually. 2025 round 1. Yeah, I can. That's cool. I-35. It's backfield penetrator who has your first round pick.
Uh-oh. What a name though.
Yeah. Yikes.
And he's top of the leaderboard here. I guess with his team, I mean, he doesn't have the strongest team. He has good depth, I would say, at some positions.
Start 9, by the way. So I'm assuming that's 2 quarterback.
Not even good depth. I guess he has more of the. What's really projecting him high potentially here are his running backs in Brees, CD, and then Brock Bowers. He has 3 top 5 positional players. Actually, 4 with Puka. 4 top 5 positional players in 3 out of the 5 position, or 3 out of the 4 positions here. I think that's potentially what's boosting him up.
Start 9 is actually pretty small for SuperFlex when you think about it, because that's 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex spots. 2, 4.
Yeah, so 4 wide
6, 8,
receivers.
9. So you can only start 4 wide receivers, like you said. That's a pretty small starting lineup. But you've got a very good foundation here. I mean, let's just talk about players that we want to build around for our future, right? Daniels. Probably Penix, both of those 2 names. That's 1, 2. Benson, and I'd probably say Kendre Miller, and then a combination of some of these other names. Chase Brown, if he works out. There's enough at running back there. At wide receiver, we need 4 names: Marvin, Jordan, Rice, Brian Thomas. That's great. Anything else is a bonus to us. And then we've got already our tight ends. You know, we don't have a superstar tight end. We're probably not winning a championship with those tight ends, but we've got a decent room. So you've got a good foundation here. I think we can both agree he's still a little while off from actually competing. I would say if you had your first round picks, you're in a great spot, but that's why it's tough, because how are you going to improve this year, really?
No, and I think there are ways to improve this year in a sell high perspective in some of these players, and maybe that's a good time to transition potentially to the whiteboard. Could be selling these players in season, and it may not be heavy, home run hitting trades, but at some point in time, is Brian Robinson going to be worth a random second or a package of 2/3? The same thing with Raheem Mostert. If he somehow if he does, have continue what we saw this past year, can you sell him to a contending team with maybe an injured running back? I would even say the same thing for Jacoby Myers. I would say one of the best flex options we saw last year, very consistent wide receiver. If somebody is dealing with injuries, can you go out and sell Jacoby Myers? I think those are the 3 players. Obviously, we can potentially get into Derek Carr or Adonai Mitchell, or Aiden O'Connell, if we can sell them at some point in time. But those are the guys I would say I will be looking into trying to sell at the right time sooner rather than later, or at the right time in season.
Let's talk about realistic expectations then for those names. I want to know, in the community's eyes, let's put in his league format here. He's full point premium, I believe, SuperFlex.
Yep, full point premium,
small
SuperFlex
lineup. So Brian Robinson right now, what is the consensus in the community? What's his worth? I'd say probably late
25
second. Okay, that doesn't seem right to me. What are people paying for Brian Robinson right now? Because that doesn't seem right to me.
That doesn't seem right to me either. I mean, I'll have a look on Keep Trade Cut and see what they're paying over there. On our community, obviously, it looks like they want him, they're valuing him a little bit more.
Yeah, something seems off here.
SuperFlex here at the moment, according to the community on Keep Trade Cut, 2024 pick 207 seems like the perfect spot for him. Now, would we pay that? Absolutely not. Sorry, 208, 209, excuse me. Seems like the fair trade. I don't think we would pay that at all. I mean, that's Blake Horn. We've seen Jalen Wright, we've seen Marshawn Lloyd, we've seen Troy Franklin, Jermaine Burton. The list really goes on the players that do go around the 209.
I'd say what you're looking for is a 2025 or a 2026 mid-second round pick. And if you can't get that, wait till in season. I mean, there's a chance Brian Robinson blows up and this offense is great and you can get potentially even more. Raheem Mostert, I don't think anyone is really comfortable sending a second round pick for him. But
probably a third round pick.
Yeah, you probably have to accept a third round in any draft, I'd say. Would you agree?
Yeah, I just wanted to look back. He said Tony Pollard, a 25 fourth and a 26 third to get Kendre Miller and Raheem Mostert. Okay. So yeah, probably be a third. That you'll be looking to get for Raheem Mostert, Raheem the Dream there.
And as far as Derek Carr, I personally think he's probably a better hold than anything. Because Badaki, do you really think you can get a second round pick for Derek Carr in a super?
Oh, absolutely not. But I think right now in a super flex league where in reality it doesn't really matter to you because you're not competing. If I can get a third, I would, but I would agree that someone's going to send me a fourth round pick, I'm going to say no. I'd rather just hold on to Derek Carr. But if I can get any random third, I'm happy to take a chance on that third player, at least in my eyes, because the way that happens is because, to get a second, Derek Carr has to be a top 10 quarterback for at least a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'd say if you can find, and let's have a look now for him, a team that is competing and doesn't have a deep quarterback room, that would be potentially where you could fish a second round pick in any class. Like, for example, this guy who has Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, but he's got a team that looks like they can compete right now. Lamb, Puka, Diggs, Johnson. He's got Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. I mean, can we get from this guy? He's got so many picks. Would this backfield penetration guy, would he send you a second in any class? Ask him. See what he thinks, because he's probably not that comfortable with his quarterback room.
Yeah, and I would definitely take those seconds as well.
Maybe Spitemaster 25 could be a target as well. He looks like ready to compete, but doesn't have the best quarterback room. Outside of that, I don't think any of these teams are really competing at this. Maybe this guy. Oh, his team is funny.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I did think about that WG to try and package and get your first round pick. Here's the thing. I imagine that this owner is very smart, and I imagine they would see the state of his team, and I think you'd have to overpay a lot to get that first round pick. But we can try. We can give him Derek Carr and... would you give him Derek Carr and Jordan Addison for your first round pick?
Yeah, 100% I would.
All right, how about that?
That's kind of where I was going to be leaning to, trying to figure out how we can get that first round pick back.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I even thought of
you're going to be bad.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I even thought of Trey Benson.
Derek Carr and Trey Benson.
And the reason why I say Trey Benson is because you get that first back, and you can get another quarterback next year, and you can get another running back next year, and just obviously cycle that through again. But that also puts you back again because you don't have two running backs. But once again, just bringing you options. Unless Jalen Wright takes a big step, same thing with Kendra Miller, then your running back room is completely different there.
I'd say try that last. Actually, you know what? That's a fair offer. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a fair offer with Benson. I mean, could you try Brian Robinson? The answer is probably no, but that would be maybe your first shot at it. And then, does that guy need a tight end by chance? No, he definitely doesn't need a tight end. So, that's a couple ways to wiggle your way in there. Where's his second round pick? I want to know where his second round pick has gone. It's gone to lick my ball sack.
I mean,
can you get your second for Brian Robinson?
Yeah, I mean this is a perfect team to get your second here. I mean,
he needs a running back.
And I mean, I would even say give Brian Robinson for your running back, and even if you have to sweeten the deal, I'm okay to throw in Derek Carr. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I don't like that at all.
I just don't think you're going to get much value from him. So at all.
Yeah, you can throw in Derek Carr if he adds a third.
Okay.
But don't just throw in Derek Carr for
the second. That's fair. That's fair. I can see with it.
You got to get the most out of your Like, look, we're not the only way we can improve our roster is with what we have because we don't have our future picks. We got to maximize every player. But I think that's a good idea there too. But outside of those two moves, definitely keep your future picks in 26 and 27. Do not sell them. We got to keep those. Isaiah Likely is someone that you could sell to whoever has Mark Andrews. I've done that in a couple leagues for a third round pick. The guy has nothing, unfortunately. But could you send him, like, for example, for Audric Estime maybe, right? Estime isn't important to his roster. Estime is going to be an outlier if he hits. You could try that. It's worth it. Or even Spencer Rattler, because you got Derek Carr. Maybe that's enticing to him. But I think you're in a good spot. I can't sit here and say that I expect you to compete next year. Because you're going to be a bad team this year and you're not going to improve much because you don't have your own picks. So the only thing you can really do is wait, see which one of these young players really takes off. And it's going to, the way to improve this team is just going to be trade by trade, getting the most value. Not caring about names, but getting the most value out of every trade. Tearing down and getting a first round pick and getting a worse player at a certain position. And doing that as many times as you can until you have a good amount of draft capital in the future. William says, I can't find where I traded my first, but it was my first season in the season 2023. Okay.
And that's fair.
But that's the way I would take it.
Different.
I think just in full transparency and honesty, you're still a couple years away.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let us know if you have any other questions, man. Definitely. Let us know if you have any questions concerning this. But I think that's probably the best out. The moves that we could potentially make. You're holding all these young assets that you traded or you drafted this year. Daniels, Penix, Benson, if you can get that deal done. Harrison you're holding, Brian Thomas you're holding.
Yes. We are in the middle of this one. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I was able to send you this list. So you have this for you.
Not sure how that's going to look. I don't think that's
what we'll do instead is I think I'm going to start screenshotting this for people. And then sending it as an attachment.
Yep.
Let me see if that's going to work. Okay. Is that going to send? Oh, this is all trial and error right now for us, guys. This is the first time we've gone. Okay, perfect. So that's there. And William, please let us know if you have any last-minute questions. It was definitely fun reviewing your team, but we are going to move on to the next team here. But like we said, just like WG said, the 1% better strategy. In every trade, how can I just get a little bit better? I don't care about names. I just want to get a little bit better every time, accumulate some more draft picks if you can. And hopefully some of these deals that we put together, you can get done. We had CJ who just donated a super chat. He says, how much to look at my team? If you want your team reviewed by us, it's very simple, guys. All you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put a direct link in the chat for you. But when you sign up, you get our rookie report, a team review, the trade calculator, personalized DM for advice. You get access to our Discord, all the databases and articles on the website. You know, all the tools that you see. Obviously, all the articles and databases, but all the tools, the trade calculator, our rankings, all of that is included when you sign up and become a Mother Flocker member.
That's right.
So we appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
And he says, what do you think of the picks, positions, and players I took? So from what I understand, he went the 102 with Harrison. That's consensus. Yep. The 103 with Daniels. That's what I would have done if I had the pick. Getting Brian Thomas Jr. at the 110, that to me tells me he fell for some reason, and I'm glad that you were able to get him. I feel like he's consensus 108 or so. 203 for Trey Benson. I've seen him go as early as 201 or 202, so that's great. The 204 for Penix is exactly where I would take him. Y'all know I'm a big fan of his. Corley at the 301 might be not my preferred wide receiver there, but I know, Badaki, you would have probably done this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You love Corley.
I'll take Corley here, but he did trade away Corley and Jermaine to acquire somebody else. I forgot who that was.
Yeah, he says he sent Pollard a fourth and a third to get Kendra Raheem Mostert after trading Jalen Wright and a third, giving up Corley and Jermaine Burton.
Because you're deep at wide receiver.
Yeah. So I think it's a great draft. McMillan at the 401 is a very good value. Jermaine Burton at 301 is ridiculous. Like, I haven't seen that in any draft. And then obviously Ben Sinnott at the 304 is a good move too. So I think you did a good job of maximizing all of your picks.
I think so as well. But appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the support.
Yes. So
that should be. I wonder if that's going to refresh on my side. If I just got to refresh. Yeah, it does. Okay, awesome. So next guy is Big JP.
So what was the name of that? I want to make sure I can see it. That was
Aaron's Achilles Factory.
Aaron's Achilles Factory. Okay, cool. So that's all goods to go.
Yeah.
Make sure you save that screenshot as well. And DM us, William. DM us on Discord if we haven't set up your fantasy hotline. We'd be happy to do that. But again, anybody who's watching, if you want your team reviewed, all you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We put a direct link in the chat. Kedar George says, with the Rays hat.
Tampa Bay, huh? What's good, my guy?
Yeah, I love this branding. I love the old Tampa Bay Rays branding. I think it's one of the funnest brandings. Old school. I don't like the
old
new
school,
stuff.
Baby.
But what's up, Kedar? Kedar's the CFO of our headquarters in America.
The CFO to the headquarters. Shout out to Florida. Every day.
Yes. But let's go on to the next team, which is JP.
And it's really simple here for JP. He just says,
what are your
suggestions for my 2024 draft pick? And it looks like when you look at this team, he's already done his draft here. So let's have a look at his team straight away.
Well, first off, he's ranked number 1, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. 10 team, half PPR, start 9. So I'm very similar to this, to Anderson's team,
but to a deeper extent because it's 10 team.
Yeah,
so it's small rosters and it's a small league.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, or 1 tight end and 2 flex here. So having a look at JP's team ranked, every position is at the top 5 in the rankings here. If you look at tight ends, wide receiver, running backs, and quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Drake May, phenomenal quarterback room.
Fantastic.
Here, you don't really have to think about that too much. Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry,
Marshawn Lloyd down
He
there
also
too.
has Marshawn Lloyd there as well. I mean, this is a phenomenal win now.
I'm gonna
room.
switch it from the community rankings to my rankings, Badaki.
Sure.
Just because I think Marshawn Lloyd's much more valuable than that. Yeah, that feels more right to me. Marshawn Lloyd RB27. That feels.
In the community, he's RB 42.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right. So.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Christian Watson, Kirk, Calvin, Jacoby. The list goes on. This is a phenomenal wide receiver room. You can start up to 4 wide receivers, and you're starting 4 heavy hitters. Amon-Ra, Marvin, Ayuk, Michael Pittman, I would consider a light heavy hitter. He's not too crazy, but somebody you can easily rely on as your wide receiver 4. With the opportunities of Jackson Smith and Jigba, Christian Watson definitely taking the next step, hopefully there with Jordan Love and Jackson Smith and Jigba there, just taking the next step overall that we're hoping and believing there with Ryan Grubb, the new offensive coordinator. At the tight end position, one of the best tight ends in the league in Trey McBride. And obviously you don't really have to worry about this. So it looks like with your draft picks that I can see, you got Drake, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm assuming was your first overall pick. Then it looks like you went out and got Drake May.
Well,
then
go ahead, sorry.
And then the next player there I can see that he potentially got was maybe Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is I was gonna jump in there and say, like, let's be honest for a sec. What do you do to this team differently?
Nothing.
You are the Thanos. Every time we, do a league, there is typically one Thanos, and today that's you, my friend. You are the Thanos. Not only do you have the best team, you also have everyone's draft picks. You have 3 first rounds in 2025. You have 4 first rounds in 2026. Quite frankly, we appreciate you signing up, but you don't need any help. You are doing just fine all on your own. You're dominating this league. You're going to dominate this league for quite some time. And quite frankly, like, if this was a redraft league, think about how many picks are like a top 4 round pick. Allen and Hurts, Etienne and Henry at minimum, maybe Swift, Amon-Ra, Marvin, Ayuk, Pittman, McBride. You have like 8 picks in the first 3 or 4 rounds of a redraft league. And they're all young, outside of Derrick Henry.
Yep.
You're probably going to win the league, and then you're going to have everyone's draft picks, and you're going to continually get better. The only course of action I can tell you to moving forward is continually cash in depth for high quality starters in a league like this. 10-man start 9. That's a smaller league. So if you think about it, our start 9 right now is Allen, Hurts, that's 2. Etienne's Henry, that's 4. Amon-Ra, Marvin, Ayuk, Pittman, that's 8. And McBride is 9. So think about it for a second. DeAndre Swift, he's a rotational guy, but he doesn't matter all that much to our team, as crazy as that sounds. Think about it. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley don't matter that much to our roster. Mm-hmm. How can we capitalize in a league like this? Can we package Ridley and Michael Pittman in a first and go get a superstar? Can we package DeAndre Swift in a first and go get a superstar at that position? That's the only way you get better.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to lead to next there. You have 3 first-round picks in 2025. I'm even happy to take 2 of those guys and see if I can go out and get... I mean, I doubt just the 2 first-round picks, right? Like, can you throw the 2 first-round picks and Christian Watson to go out and get a CeeDee Lamb? Can you go out and get a Justin Jefferson? Whatever that case may be. You want the top 5 kind of draft pick, the top 5 in that position for this team, because if you're telling me right now you can somehow have Marvin Harrison Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, and hypothetically a superstar on that team, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, let's throw AJ Brown in that mix, right? Can you go out and get somebody like that? I would do that immediately, especially in a 10-man league.
Okay,
because
so
these wide receiver rooms are deep.
Let's define those players that we want to go out and target. Okay. So CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I want CeeDee,
Jamar
Chase. I would say I would throw Puka in that conversation,
Puka Nacua.
and I would throw AJ Brown in that conversation.
AJ Brown for sure. That makes sense. I would even say Tyreek Hill isn't a bad bet on this, but he shouldn't cost that much.
Yeah, he shouldn't cost that much.
Also,
I would throw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm not hesitant on Garrett Wilson. I think I just want what I know already. I know Garrett Wilson is going to be phenomenal, but he still technically hasn't broken out.
Sure.
Now, our expectation is that he will.
Let's add running backs there, like the Bijans,
Yeah.
the Gibbs, the Breeses. I think even a CMC. Older, cheap vets that you could acquire as well. CMC and Tyreek would really benefit you. You just want to win at this point. It doesn't matter how many picks you consolidate. You just want to win, or that you collect. So like, use the following players in those type of trades. What are the names? Like, I would say even like Michael Pittman. Even though he's great, but he'd be a piece for me.
I'm happy to move off of genuinely everyone outside of the top three, which is Amon-Ra, Harrison, Ayuk. If I can put any of those guys in the wide receiver room in a package for one of these players that we just named, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's not really a reason to get rid of Derrick Henry on this team, but like, add in DeAndre Swift to this conversation as well. And you certainly don't need to change your quarterbacks. Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are going to be probably the two quarterbacks first off the board in redraft leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, your 2025 first is a movable piece. Your 2026 first is a movable piece. And I typically wouldn't say this to a team, but your team is going to be better than the picks of the teams that you have their first round picks. So this is one of those rare scenarios where, yeah, I can send my first round pick away because I am so young, I am so talented across the board that it's not going to hurt me in such a small league.
Agreed.
So that's the moves I would try and make. I mean, let's just throw an example out there for him, Badaki. We package Michael Pittman plus our 2025 first. Does that get us in like Jamar Chase range? Let's see what Keep Trade Cut would say.
I think it should.
By the way, we don't hate Keep Trade Cut. We just don't think it's very good. So
sure. I mean, if
there
they
you
don't,
go, two mid firsts. There you go.
Yeah.
Do that for Chase. Do that for CD. Do that for JJ.
Exactly. I would do it for any of those guys, and then obviously, you can start with Michael Pittman in a first to go out and maybe acquire. I think maybe Puka will probably be around that range potentially. I would even say maybe AJ Brown or something along those lines.
How about DeAndre Swift in a first for Breece Hall?
Mm-hmm.
Would that work over there? Okay, it get you close. It get you in the door. But just trying to take advantage of that calculator that's relatively bad. This is the only way you improve your team.
Yep, I agree. Phenomenal team, though, man. Thank you so much for the support, JP. Continue to do you. Looks like you're swindling somebody. Colonel Sanders praying for you, man.
Okay,
it's actually not even that bad.
I just hit start. This is Big JP, right? Big
yes,
JP
this
is the team
that was big.
I'm still wrapping my head around the website. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll screenshot this. I'll send it to him. But exactly the only way we're getting better is by consolidating depth and trying to get the best starting roster as possible. We've already got so much draft capital, so much youth. Just keep going that way. But you're going to win for a while. Congratulations. Great team.
Huge.
As completed.
Huge love.
Okay,
Thank
so
you
that
so much.
is completed. Cool. All right, the next one we are looking at today
We do have a super chat, by the way.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
Thank you so much for the super chat there, Ben. He said thoughts on this trade. I'm a rebuild. Said I'm a rebuild. Pollard the 304 and a 25-second for Kendre Miller. Um, I would say it's a high price for Kendre, don't you think?
Yes,
Pollard
it
the
is.
304 and a 25-second for Kendre, who respectively hasn't really done anything outside of the last week of the season there. I know Pollard's going into a questionable situation. The 304 in this draft, I think, is probably the end of in the 2024 draft class. Is probably the end of that talent. You can get Malachi Corley there. You can get Javon Baker there. I mean, we've seen a lot of good talents going there for the 304, and at the 25-second. Let's be honest. I mean, if that's an early 25-second and the 25 running back class is as deep and as good as we're expecting, is that a good running back that's better than Kendre Miller going to a better situation? Now, that's a big hypothetical. Let's say that's the 201 to the 202, or
Here's what I'll
201
say.
to the 202, 204, right?
In my opinion, Kendre Miller in a year's time will be by far the most valuable piece in this deal, but you're overpaying based off his current market. And what is his current market? Well, what does Keep Trade Cut say right now? Again, we don't like Keep Trade Cut all that much, but we like to take advantage of it. And right now, I bet you a mid-second is probably his price in that's alone. Just the mid-second. I bet you Tony Pollard straight up is probably pretty close. There you go. Tony Pollard straight up. Pony Pollard. Shout out to Pony Pollard.
Tony Pollard.
But yeah, so the counter would be, give me Tony Pollard, I'll give you Kendre Miller. That's how easy the counter is, but definitely not all of that. You're way overpaying there.
And Ben, if your player or if your person that you're training with, and you know he's a big keep trade cut believer, send him that screenshot. Go on Keep Trade Cut. Send Pollard for Kendre Miller.
Just
like,
say,
bro, this is an even trade.
I'm down to get a deal done, but this feels like you're asking too much, essentially, right? So that's the way I would go about it. But appreciate the super chat, my man. All right, we are going to move on to the next team here, and the next team is B Chastain. So we got B Chastain here. And let us know if you're in the chat, B Chastain, here on YouTube. But we've got the details. And whenever you're ready, Badaki, take us through it.
Sure. It says, curious to see if any ideas to extend to defend my championship last year. Congratulations. He says, I traded Jamar Chase for 3 first rounds in year 1. Then started selling pieces for draft picks and hot players for first and second rounders. Traded some of the playoff run and paid off as Gibbs Laporta better than expected, and traded for Diggs early on, regretting slightly, because he didn't have the best second half of the season. Anyway, any thoughts is appreciated. No worries. Let's have a look at this team.
So if I'm reading this right, he is a champion, but he traded away Jamar Chase. So yes. I wonder how that worked together, if you get what I'm saying.
How that's gonna go, but let's have a look here.
The revolving doors, right?
Yes, the revolving doors is his team. Looks like he is ranked 2nd. He's another team that has top 5 rankings in every position here: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I'm gonna
just switch it over to my rankings, by the way, just so we're on the same page.
Sure. At the quarterback position, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff with Michael Penix. Phenomenal quarterback room, especially for the future there with Michael Penix. Jared Goff has that contract extension. And then 2 key quarterbacks in Jackson and Daniels. At the running back position, Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Kendre Miller, Alvin Kamara. So you have not only the Detroit backfield locked up, but you also have the New Orleans backfield locked up, which is pretty great, just depending on if one of these guys goes down. And keep in mind, this is a start 9, another start 9, 12 team.
It's one quarterback.
Premium. Oh, it is one quarterback, non-SuperFlex. Okay. It is one quarterback. So it's a start 9, one quarterback. So it's an extra wide receiver, essentially. You can start an extra. The way I'm thinking about it, you just add a wide receiver to that.
Well, I bet you he has 3 flex spots. So I bet you something like this: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 3 flex.
Yeah.
That is 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Yeah.
Yeah. At the wide receiver position, with the ability to start to 5 wide receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brandon Ayuk, Lad McConkey, Mike Evans, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amari Cooper, who I love coming into this year, Jermaine Byrne, and I Mitchell. The list goes on there
room.
with Sam Laporta. Yeah, great room there. He does have his 25 first. No, he has Hurts. Wins so much 25 first.
Which is the worst team in the league. So well done.
There you go.
Somehow you swapped first round picks with him, so that was really well done.
So that's exactly what you wanted to do there.
I would say this: very good team. If we're looking at our starting lineup, it's probably Lamar Jackson, Gibbs, Montgomery, or Swift. Or actually, it's probably Gibbs, Kamara right now. At wide receiver, we're probably starting Marvin and Ayuk. At tight end, we're starting Laporta. And then our 3 flex spots is probably Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, and either Lad or JSN.
Yeah.
Or a Swift thrown in there or a Montgomery thrown in there. So already your starting lineup is pretty good. We are a little bit older at wide receiver outside of the top 4, but that's okay because you're in a position where you've got this great youth and these really productive vets, a mixture of them that's going to help you compete right now. So I think you're in a great spot. You have 3 second-round picks in 2025. So you've got enough draft capital here as well. It feels like a lot of quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback format.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was trying to find a team that he could potentially trade a quarterback to. And there's really only one that I would say we can have a conversation about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not even one, let's be honest. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, does he feel more confident in one of these other quarterbacks?
Which team is this? Sorry.
This is Cheetahs.
Okay.
Team 4.
Trevor
But once
Lawrence,
again,
Bryce Young, yeah.
that's I would say the weakest room we've seen in the quarterback in this league here, and he's ranked 12th according to our rankings in the quarterback room.
Yeah, everyone else pretty much has a decent starter. The only other team is maybe the guy who has Justin Herbert, just because some people are concerned
about Justin Herbert. Yeah,
that's not us. We're not concerned, but some people are. But yeah, it might be tough to trade a quarterback there. Already is tough in a 1 quarterback format, but that might make it even more difficult. But I'm not really sure what move we should make right now. I honestly think we should ride into the season with this team. I'm not going to sit here.
Quarterback high in season, kind of like what you're mentioning with Justin Herbert. Sorry.
Sure.
But like, if Jared Goff is, starting off really hot, and you're feeling confident, and maybe Justin Herbert is not feeling confident with that team, or maybe even Trevor Lawrence is not going hot, and Bryce Young is not living up to the expectations that we hope to, that's probably the best route you could potentially be going to, is that quarterback position.
Yeah. It would be silly for us to sit here and tell you well, you should trade Alvin Kamara because he's old, and Amari Cooper and Mike Evans. These guys are old, so they shouldn't be on your. That would be silly, because you're in a position where you can really go and compete right now, considering the starting lineup that you have that you can put together, and considering how productive these veterans are going to be anyway. So I really think this team is a strong hold right now. I don't know. I'm not getting rid of Marvin Harrison. I'm not going to tear down from Brandon Ayuk. I feel like he's properly priced. I'm personally not selling JSN. I guess some people might. There's not really an obvious move here for me.
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of Sam Laporta.
There's no one here that I'm moving whatsoever. I think the one thing I would say, if you want to move somebody in season and your team is not going too hot, I think the veteran wide receivers you can move. Let's say you're 2-7. Mike Evans is a top 12 wide receiver. Same thing with Amari Cooper. What can I get for those guys? Can I sell them to a contending team that may need somebody that can really just take their team to the next level? Can I get somebody or more draft capital or something along those lines? That's kind of where that's kind of the only thought process that I have.
Yeah, I'm just letting them know. Like, let me know if you have any questions for us. Your time to shine. But there's really not an obvious move to make. Mike Evans is difficult to sell, but he can help you win right now. You know, Jerry Jeudy is clearly not someone that you can sell right now. And all these quarterbacks in a one quarterback league, it's difficult to move those guys as well. It's nice that you have Montgomery and Gibbs in case Gibbs goes down with an injury.
Yeah.
And you're competing. And we're not going to tell you to sell names like Dontavion Wicks. I know a lot of people love him. So I think this is just a really strong hold. I honestly think this is a strong hold. You've done a really fantastic job of putting yourself in position to be a good team, to be a young good team. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it is what I would say. You're ranked third in quarterbacks, second in running backs, third in wide receivers, first in tight ends. You have the second ranked pick haul, if you will, and you're overall ranked second. The team that you're going to face has Brock Purdy, Bijan Breece, Trey, Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave. I think you can beat this team. I honestly do.
I think so as well. I think so, 100%.
Are better at quarterback. He's better at running back. He has more top-end wide receivers, but your wide receiver room is better, and you certainly are way better at tight end.
Yeah, I think so as well. So if you just hold out and you continue to do what you're doing, in these players do their thing in season, that's great. And if they don't, then you know to pivot and sell those guys at the right time.
And what you could do is, in season, you could look at using the first-round pick from this team to give it back to them. But you probably don't want to do that, honestly. You probably want to hold it. They don't really have anyone. Nico Collins is a great ad, actually. You could add Nico Collins, but it's a strong hold right now for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Strong hold right now. You've done a really good job. Feel free to DM us over on Discord if there's anything that we haven't fully covered that you might have wanted us to cover. Please let us know. We'd love to answer any questions that you might have had that we didn't get to. And also, please DM us on Discord if you want us to set up your fantasy hotline. We'd love to do that for you as well. But hey guys, anybody watching this stream that wants their Dynasty team reviewed, it's very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We just put a direct link in the chat. But that is going to be it for today. Just a heads up, we got Daddy ASF, Travis Swizzle, Stroud Boys coming soon. All these guys we're going to be reviewing here soon this week as well. But if you want to keep watching content with us, if you want to, keep hanging out, we're about to go live over on our redraft channel. So if you want to continue to hang out with us, continue to talk football, maybe put some questions in the chat, we might be able to answer more questions over there on that stream, then I'll put a live stream here, a link to the live stream where you can come join us. So everybody who's watching this right here, right now, I just spammed the link to that live stream. Go join us over on the redraft channel. We'll be live there in a couple minutes to continue answering all your questions. We did get a super chat here, by the way. We did get a super chat, so let's answer that now.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you. Really quick, he says, thank you again for everything you do. Who do we like better between Josh Downs and Zamir White? Who has a higher upside and pathway? I would say this. Zamir White feels like he has a higher upside and pathway specifically for this year in a redraft perspective because he is his leading back. I still believe in Josh Downs. Now, the reason why I would lean Josh Downs is because there's still a glimmer of hope for Anthony Richardson to potentially make him fantasy relevant. Now, I would say if you're looking for the higher upside and return right now, I would actually argue Zamir White is the guy that you can get the highest return for right now.
I'd pretty comfortably choose Zamir White, and it's not because I think he's like some all-world talent. There's a couple reasons. The first reason is because it's much more difficult to find a running back in Zamir White in his situation than finding a wide receiver in Josh Downs' situation. Josh Downs is at best the wide receiver 2, maybe the wide receiver 3 on his own team. Those guys are a dime a dozen in the NFL, and they're a dime a dozen that you can trade for in Dynasty football. No disrespect. It's not saying he's not talented. But finding a young running back stepping into a situation where he will get the lion's share of the work, that is not very common. So it's very easily Zamir White for me. He could lose his job next year. I can totally see that happening. But if you're asking which one of these guys have a range of outcome in which they're like a very valuable asset in Dynasty, Zamir is that answer to me, because we saw him dominate when Josh Jacobs was out last year. There's no one to really compete with. And if he does perform well, that might lead them to keep Zamir White as the guy in Las Vegas. Whereas I just think Downs is going to be stuck as like a number 2, number 3 at best in an offense where we don't exactly know how reliable the passing production will be. So it's pretty comfortably Zamir for me.
Easy. Hopefully that helps, Matthew. Thank you so much for that super chat.
Yes.
And we'll see you on our next live stream on our redraft channel, which is in the chat. So if you have more questions, drop it on over there. Love.
Yes. Go to the stream that we're putting in the chat. All right. We'll be live there in only a couple minutes. Go show some love to the redraft channel. We're about to go live. Do a mock draft with us. Ask us some questions. We'll see you over there. Hunter sends, when is the next review going to be? Probably not tomorrow, but the day after is what I'd say. Probably not tomorrow, but the day after. But we'll see you on the redraft channel. All love, guys.